Okay, guys, so we are starting out section 2 of our chapter on proteins. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is primary structure. So that's the name of this particular section, but primary structure is the first part of the structure of proteins. So the structure of proteins is actually pretty complex. So we're going to start at the smallest part, the primary structure, and build up from there. So primary structure just talks about how amino acids are connected to each other. And the way that we do this, or how do we form proteins from amino acids? So proteins are, if you remember from the very beginning of the last set of lectures, proteins are like biopolymers. They have lots of amino acids. So it's a polymer made of amino acids. So how do we form proteins from amino acids? It's through an amidation reaction. So we've learned amidation reactions before, but this one's going to be a little bit different. Before we took an amine and actually it's not any different. It's a little bit different just because of the charges that we see. But you see that we have one carboxylic or one peptide here, or one amino acid on two amino acids coming together, one amino acid on the left, one amino acid on the right. So what we're going to do is make an amide bond and form water. So I'm going to take this oxygen, O-. You'll notice it doesn't already have a hydrogen on it. Similar, when we saw amidations before, it was a carboxylic acid, an OH. Right now, I'm just showing you the O- because of the pH of the solution. And then we're going to take two of the three hydrogens. These together are going to make water. So water is one of the byproducts. So what I'm showing here, the arrow going out, I'm just showing that there's two different products. This is a byproduct. It's not really what we care about. Then we're taking bonds away from our nitrogen and our carbon double bond into our oxygen. So what that means is we're going to need to make a new bond between where we're taking water away. So we're going to be making a bond between the carbon and the nitrogen. So that, as you can see here, I kind of cheated and started out my structures. This is the new bond that we're making. We have our C double bonded to an O, making a new bond to our nitrogen from the next amino acid. So this is our new bond that we made. We release water out of the reaction. And then this particular bond in general, so if I put a square around all of this, so the carbonyl amide, so carbonyl next to the nitrogen, specifically in a form of a protein, so if you have amino acid, we call this a peptide bond. So you'll see down here on the bottom, we have peptide bond definition here. So the full definition of this would then be an amide bond between two amino acids. Okay, so we're just having this bond between, we make an amide through an amidation reaction when we lose water in order to make a peptide bond, new amide bond. We can also link these together. So we don't necessarily have to just have two together. If we do have two amino acids, it's called a dipeptide. We have three amino acids, a tripeptide, tetrapeptide, pentapeptide, or if you just have a lot, you have a polypeptide. Remember, poly meaning many. Okay, so primary structure is having the amino acids, what the actual chain looks like. So we have this amino acid next to this amino acid next to this amino acid is overall what primary structure is. And it's just defining what those amino acids are in order. So we'll practice and learn a little bit more about this, but the main concept for primary structure is that you put multiple amino acids together through a peptide bond to join them together.